past, maybe once a month you might get someone that's coming in that literally hadn't eaten, that was starving. We now have every week there's at least one, usually several people that are in that state that are coming in, and they've already been struggling for some time, and they may not have eaten for 3 to 4 days.
Charlotte White runs Earlsfield Food Bank in southwest London. She says demand for food parcels has quadrupled in the past 2 years with the hangover from the pandemic and now the cost of living crisis.
I'd say over 50-60% of our current guests are families with children, and many more working people as well. We never used to see that as much, but many people who are working, trying to get all the hours they can, and it's just not enough to get by. We had someone recently that just couldn't afford to feed the family every evening, so the mother didn't eat, but then also she took it in turns to feed her son or daughter because she couldn't afford to feed both of them every single night, and that was just heartbreaking.
The latest ONS data has revealed that some everyday items have risen dramatically in the past 12 months. Vegetable oil is up 65% on last year, pasta is up 60%, and tea is up 46%. Inflation is hitting the food bank hard too.
We've noticed a massive difference in price to the extent that we've had to cut certain items. So we always used to give oil, and oil's very popular, I guess. We just can't afford to do that anymore. We've had to cut the amount of toiletries that we give, which is a real shame because, hygiene is a massive thing, and that will affect, someone's mental health, someone's confidence, but we just can't afford to give the level that we were giving before. The other thing we've noticed is recently there's been an increase in demand in foods that can be made with a kettle. So instant noodles, cup of soup, instant mash, but they've also gone up in price. The other thing that we're really picking up on at the moment is a sense of fear because real winter hasn't started. Because at the moment you can get by without putting your heating on, it's quite warm, but in a few weeks' time it's going to be really difficult and people are really, really worried.
Well, the Trussell Trust, the UK food bank charity, has warned GB News that food banks face the hardest winter yet as they prepare to provide a predicted 1.3 million food parcels in the next 6 months, including 500,000 for children. The Trussell Trust distributed 46% more emergency food parcels in August and September than they did in 2021. This means that for the first time ever, the gap between donations and food being distributed is widening, and food banks have already used up the reserve stock that would normally help them get through the winter. As more people find themselves unable to afford the essentials, food banks are struggling to meet the increased need and are having to purchase 3 times as much food as they did last year. This financial year, food banks have bought approximately 1,400 tonnes of food, the equivalent of 111 double-decker buses. Despite a challenging winter ahead, Charlotte is touched by the generosity of her community.
We are in the bleakest and darkest of times, but one thing that has been quite powerful is a sense of community coming together.
Ellie Costello, GB News.